Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seats. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! It's Rob and Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. There's my name, Rob. I don't forget my name, you know. I got me a little reminder there.
Do you have your name written on the inside of your underwear waistband?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Welcome to the Southern Mannerisms 101 with our friends in Robert. We've got a new thing we're saying now, the Cornbread Nation.
Yes.
Our breadheads in the Cornbread Nation. Be looking for logos and merch ideas and all that stuff coming soon. We're just starting all our programming to get some of this stuff sort of rolling in the beginning. In case you have to leave us or you're not able to watch all of it, we're catching it at the beginning, letting you know. And also this week, Rob, we are going live.
Yes.
Southern Fried Live. There's you saying Southern Fried Live.
Southern Fried Live. That almost sounds like you're gonna try to cook us in oil or something.
Well, we got that saying around here. We're cooking with grease, so you know.
Oh.
That means things are going good. We used to take this guy. We used to have this
every time.
Yeah, we had this guy that. Well, we had a group of people that we did ministry with down at the Patton Towers there in Chattanooga. And, a lot of these folks are probably with the Lord now, but we had a great time with them for a long, long time. And one of the guys that would come, he liked to cook. And we took him to one of our churches one Saturday, and it was kind of a field trip for him. You know, a lot of them were disabled and stuff. And he was helping us fix some stuff. And he would say that several times through the course of fixing the meal. When everything was going good, all the food was on, everything, you know, it's like spinning plates. You got everything going. He'd say, well, we cook it with grease now. He was a happy camper when he would say that. He wouldn't say it till everything was going good.
Yeah. You know, and people like to make fun of people sometimes. We don't like that, you know, and they go, well, we're cooking with grease now. And then someone will say, really? I thought we were doing an air fryer, you know.
Oh,
I
got, you know, I know we're talking
I own an air fryer.
Well, you know, nothing against that, but I do have to ask you. It popped in my head, so I'm sorry I have to go there. Southern mannerisms. It's still a southern thing because we like, hey, you ain't. And I'm not trying to disrupt our show, but I got to go there. You know, you ain't had fried chicken unless it's skillet fried, brother. I mean, that's the best. I mean, people like to deep fry and all that, but that skillet fried got some, you know, some grease in there and going. I remember my aunt used to work this little restaurant down about 30 minutes from here. It was just a small place, but they did all this skillet fried chicken. Oh man, people would come in there from all over to eat it. But anyway, I had this friend. Unfortunately, he's with the Lord now too. But I remember one time he told me that he had a date with a girl, and it was to meet her families. They were fixing dinner. They brought him over, and she said, "We're having, you know, I mean some fried chicken. We're having some fried okra, you know, cornbread, of course, and some other things in there." But he told me, he said, now, we cook it in there, but we take it out and, you know, drain it off. But he said they served it right from what they cooked it in they didn't drain the grease off. And so he was locked in with a family. He didn't want to offend them. And so he said, they loaded me up when they picked him up a piece of chicken and brought it over to his plate. I think they did just like that too, Robert. I really do. If I remember right, they just picked it up with their hand and brought it over. He said grease was dripping off this thing, you know, and they put it on his plate. And he said his stomach was doing jumps trying to figure out how he's going to handle that. And then they just scooped him some fried okra over there. They didn't drain the grease off. So he said, I ate. He said, by the end of the night, he said, my stomach was killing me. And so he said, I really liked the girl. But he said, I broke it off. I wouldn't go out with her no more. He said, because I couldn't my stomach couldn't handle the meals.
And mom and daddy went, success.
Yeah, exactly. I will never forget that as long as I live, man.
Well,
I said, well, I said, couldn't y'all just go out somewhere? He goes, well, yeah, we could, but they have this weekly meal, and I was going to have to go there, man. And now they think I just love this fried chicken sitting in the grease, so that's going to be what I'm getting every week.
dude,
Oh,
you have a game plan now. You've got a 12-year-old granddaughter that you're raising. You need to remember that.
well, there are some guys though. I don't know, Rob. Some of them they got cast iron, stomachs, as we say, and they can eat anything. I mean, they can process, car parts, food. It don't matter. I mean, they're just toughens. That might not work with everybody.
Well, then you fix them the special sweet tea. Half of it's Pepto.
Oh, oh my
Drink up,
goodness.
son.
I'm sorry, man. I could not. I had to get that out, man. It was so
That's
funny, man,
okay.
when he told me that, man. The grease just reached over with her hand and put that on the plate, man. That's some country right there.
Oh my goodness. I got one I'm gonna tell one day. I ain't gonna tell it today. It's on my grandma. It's too soon. Uh, uh, yeah, all right, we gotta get back on track. Could you catch your rabbit?
I know, bad, bad, bad.
Okay.
Be quiet. Tape over the mouth.
No, 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 don't you do it. Uh, okay. I want you to know I had a relative that came down here from up north, down here to South Georgia,
Okay,
and was bragging about how well he could drive in the snow.
awesome.
Now, our average snowfall here in South Georgia is 0. We don't get no snow down here. We may get some once in a coon's age, and we'll talk about coon's ages later on. But maybe once every 10 or 15 years, we might get snow. And for us, it's less than a quarter of an inch. It's mostly ice.
Yeah, I was fixing to
We
say.
don't get those big flakes. Uh, you want to impress me, Bubba? You, Mr. Snow Driver? You drive up that clay hill out there without winding up in the ditch. That'll impress me. That old wet clay hill out there, yeah, you drive up that sucker or down it. Up or down, I don't care. And don't wind up in the ditch. Because I will go get the tractor and pull your honey out, but dadgum, don't give me a bunch of crap about not being able to drive in the snow when you can't drive up the hill when there ain't no snow.
Where was he from up north? That's a
Wisconsin.
clue here. Where Wisconsin?
Yes.
It's probably some flat land. He didn't have to climb much hills, probably.
Oh no,
I,
that part that he's from is pretty hilly.
is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah. There's some hills in Wisconsin. I've been there. I've been to Wisconsin.
You
And I
get
know
you some.
you were born up there, but I've
I
been
was
there.
not. I was not born in Wisconsin, Robert.
Where were you born?
Correction, my friend.
Where were you born?
I was born in a town called Rockford, Illinois. My mom was pregnant with me as they left Dalton for work. Okay, so that is true. I was born in Rockford, Illinois. I never lived in Wisconsin. I did live in Indiana for a while. This all
How
this
far
all
is how far is Rockford, Illinois from Wisconsin?
not far. We used to shop in Wisconsin. My mom would tell me, but
So
I
it's just a
wasn't
piece
born.
up the road.
It's just a piece up the road. Yeah, not too far.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you.
But,
Okay. You
but
weren't born in Wisconsin.
But if it helps you, I don't really care for cheese that much. So,
Okay. I understand that you're a cheesehead.
no,
Okay.
no, not a cheese
No,
head.
not you. I'm talking about these knuckleheads that come down here bragging about how well they
Oh,
drive in the snow. I understand that they're cheeseheads. Okay. And I've seen them on TV at what is it, Lambeau Field
yeah.
there in Wisconsin or
Green
right
Bay
up there,
Packers.
Green Bay. Yeah. I'm gonna quote Walter here. Why didn't they build a roof on that place? Whose bright idea was that?
Well, they wanted that to be hard on the opposing team. Same with Buffalo.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So,
So you can drive in 20 feet of snow. Okay.
it's a little bit different kind of snow though, Rob. I mean,
It is. But
it's a little different. It's not, they don't have, I mean, I'm not saying they don't have a lot. Absolutely. It's a little powdery, where ours is more icy top. Not saying they
yeah.
don't get that too as far as the ice, but it is a little different. My dad, I'll use my dad as an example because he lived both places. He was, from down in Lafayette, Dalton. But
Yeah.
he said that it was different driving in the snow up there in Illinois than it was down here. He got used to it. He didn't like the snow. That's one of the reasons we came home. He just didn't like having that around all the time. You got some pretty heavy snows, you know,
Yeah.
like Chicago getting the lake effect snow and all that. Yeah, they do mock us. I mean, what was the one they got us on a few years ago? The Atlanta one where they shut down the interstates. All them people were trapped.
Oh my gosh.
Snowmageddon or something they call
Snowmageddon.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the
they
same
they
year.
they deleted, or deleted. They delayed treating the streets and all that, and it was a big mess.
Well, that was the same year, I think, that Albany, Georgia. Now this is way down deep south, y'all. About an
Deep,
hour.
deep south.
About an hour from here. Not even an hour north. It's northeastish. But anyway, they got a quarter inch or less than a quarter of an inch of snow. And it's that old icy, wet. Shut the town down. And it's a pretty good sized town. Shut it down. The only thing that was open was the hospitals. Everything shut down. And
Well,
the newscasters on the weather station and stuff like that were like, we got a quarter inch of snow in Albany, Georgia. Shut the place down. And my poor mama, who lived in Albany at the time, was fussing and chewing them out like they could hear her through the TV. But she
well, of
was
course.
fussing at them and chewing them out. We don't get snow here.
Well, when you don't get a lot of something like that, I mean, there are some things to take in consideration. They can mock and say all these funny things all they want. But do we really want to put kids on a school bus with a driver who's not used to driving on that and send kids home
No.
like that? So we want to get that shut down. And a lot of people that, even around here, they will say, I don't want to mess my car up. Even if I'm driving okay, somebody else may not. And I just don't want to have to deal with that issue. Because a lot of the problem here is not the actual driving in the snow, but it is the ice. And they don't want to go in a ditch or slide into somebody. So it can cripple us down here for a day or two. It's because we don't deal with it as much. It's just in fact, we build in, Rob, in the schools, the snow days.
Yeah.
I mean, there are snow days that are used so that we can have that, and that way, if we miss 2 or 3 days, we've got it, got that
It's
covered,
cool.
and it doesn't hurt us. But we don't, like you said, you got that once ever in a coon's age where they get that day after day after day after day. They got the snow drifts going on. They've got the huge
Yeah.
blowers going on. Everybody up there's got the little snow blowers so they can get, see how to get to the mailbox and all that stuff. I mean, they're putting snow on dump trucks and taking it and dumping it in the ocean or on barges and stuff. I mean, it's got to go
Absolutely.
somewhere. I mean, it's massive amounts of snow. And but that's the area you live in. So they're driving on snow, but dude, they're driving on snow that is has become the road. I mean, it's packed down in
Mhm.
some cases. It's they can't clear all of it sometimes, so it becomes a really hard. It's almost like honestly, it's almost like a hardened road.
Yeah.
So and they got the snow tires and the chains and all that stuff. I'm sure and put all that on where we just don't deal with it that much. But I'll tell you what, them same people come down south, they get a good old taste of some of that heavy humidity we got around here, and they're crying about it. They
Yeah.
cry about that
And I
humidity,
think something
and
else.
I bet down your way they cry about them gnats and
Oh,
everything else down
yeah.
there.
And I'll tell you something else they cry about around here. Them snow chains and snow tires don't help them a bit on these muddy dirt roads. Not a bit. It ain't gonna help them.
It ain't
This is
gonna help.
slick. Uh, and it's just as bad as snow or a thin layer of ice. I mean, because you can't get any traction in it. That's it. Uh,
That's it.
uh, so, yeah, y'all have your problems. We have ours. We go up there, we can't drive. If you come down here, you get on a wet clay road, you ain't gonna be able to drive. So back up, turkey.
Well, it's easy to criticize when you don't live in a place and you deal with different issues than they do. But,
I got
like if you go out west or even up north, it does happen in the south occasionally, but rarely. They deal with the rolling blackouts. They
yeah.
got they got horrible electrical grids, you know. We're down here,
Mhm.
with warm houses and we got our natural gas or propane going or whatever, and we've got electricity and they're freezing to death because they don't have enough to support the grid or the grid's falling apart. So it really depends on where you're at, how much, what's different, so they could but yeah, it's true. A lot of people can't drive on that stuff. I mean, let's be honest. We got a lot of people in the South that can't drive anyway. I mean, not much. Forget the snow. That's just an added danger. I mean, think about these same people that were driving around every day
On a
and
donut.
on a donut. That's right.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of the cars down here are barely going. I mean, you got those that are just chugging along. Let a good snow come along, and man, it is like a snowmageddon to them because their car ain't suited for all that. But yeah, they're just happy that they got down to the store and back. But we got people down here. It may be that way everywhere, but they can't figure out how to go with the flow of traffic in Walmart parking lot. I mean, they go the wrong direction, and then they try to turn around sometimes in the middle of a lane, and that just causes all. I mean, I'm thinking, where are these people from? I mean, they're Southern people, and they can't drive.
I've got to tell this story. I wasn't there for it. My uncle told me this story, but I know it's true because it was collaborated on later. All right, and I'll tell how I got collaborated first. When I moved down where I'm at now, I've got one of those big clay hills right here. We got it down the hill just fine. Now, keep in mind, I live in a double wide, and they had to haul that thing down here, down that road, clay, soupy, raining every day in the evenings, as it is prone to do around here. Well, we got down the hill just fine in that U-Haul, great big U-Haul, the biggest U-Haul you could get because we moved from up there to down here. And we got it unloaded and we went to take it back and made it about halfway up that hill and we were done. So we had to call somebody to pull us on up that hill. Now, I'm going to tell you the story that I started to tell you. My uncle come home from work one day, and somebody, it was later in the evening, had gotten a RV. They had pulled in, saw the driveway, thought it was a road, pulled up in it, and then realized that it was a driveway, not a road. So they went to turn around in the field. Now, those of you who don't understand fields down here in South Georgia, they're not that solid. Anyway, they sunk it to the axle. So they had to call somebody to pull it out. And he hooked everything up. He had a big old flatbed. He's going to pull it out. And he said, now, when I get this thing going, he told the lady, it was a lady and a gentleman, told the lady, he said, can you give it the gas and just keep it going? Do you know how to handle this rig? And she commenced to telling him just how well that she could handle that rig and how many hours and days she'd spent driving that rig, and that she was more than qualified to handle that rig under any circumstances. He told her, he said, well, you want me to just go? You don't need me, do you? You done with me?
I bet she had 0 hours in Georgia Clay.
He told her, he said, so you don't need me no more. I'll go ahead and go. And she was like, My uncle had told me that story for a long time. And where I got my U-Haul stuck was about 100 yards from where that incident occurred. And as he was pulling my U-Haul on up the hill, he said, you know, I pulled an RV out right up here one day. And I'm sitting there going, I said, you remember what that lady told you? I said, because my uncle's told me this story 100 times. Oh, yeah, she told me just how good she could drive that big old RV.
We've had people do that at the church, I grew up in. They just think they got these big old rigs and trailers and all that stuff. And I'll just go out there and turn around. It's usually a turnaround spot. Next thing you know, they're all mired up. We come in, the yard's all tore up. We didn't have cameras then or anything, so we didn't know who did it. But you could tell by the tracks and the depth and everything just how bad it was. Yeah. So we'd have to come in and do some, get it all straightened back out, and throw some hay and grass seed and all that back out. I mean, people don't realize it's like quicksand. I mean, you just go down. By the way, that is another thing, and I'll admit it. People that they can't drive on roads on the snow, for some reason they think they can pull up in their yards and everything too, and they get stuck.
Yeah,
the tow truck drivers, they make a lot of money on them events because you get all these people. They think that their little small subcompact can tackle 6 inches of snow like it's nothing. Next thing you know, there's just no tires touching anything but wet, and they're stuck. And then they panic, and then make it worse. And they're trying everything. They're throwing rocks in there and pieces of branches and everything else. And before you know it, you can't see the tires. All you see is the frame sitting on the ground. That's it.
Yeah. Once you get there, you might as well just quit spinning your tires, get ready to shell out some bucks, and get somebody to pull you out.
And that's probably on a night like that. It could be anywhere from it could be up to $200, man, just to get pulled out, depending on how busy they are and what you're having them do. It's easy, man, to spend that kind of dime on something like that.
Well, when he came out here and pulled that U-Haul on up the hill, he told me, he said $200 for me to drive out there. Come on. You got to come on. That's all I can tell you.
Now, sometimes you get a real blessing. You got locals that'll just do stuff. They got big hearts, and they'll get their tractor or whatever out there, and they'll just hook up some chain and start helping people. But usually people give them some money for helping out and stuff, as they should. But it's a mess, man, and people think they can drive and all that, but they have no idea. No idea.
They'll come down here and see that muddy road, and they'll be like, I can drive in snow. I can drive in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, let's watch this. I'll go get the tractor.
Well, I guarantee you, Robert, if you went up to our area and you went to that ridge cut, which you know how bad that can be, I'll bet you a bunch of those people that slide around and slide at each other and cause a big old mess up there on the ridge cut whenever we have bad weather, I bet you most of them's got out of state tags. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. They ain't expecting that.
They start coming down that hill and they got that turn going on and they think I got this, and they don't realize the monster ride that they're on. That's why the
Yeah,
TV stations go up there and set up their cameras because it turns into, bumper cars really quick. And a lot of those are 18 wheelers,
yeah,
which is a real bad thing.
yeah.
But
That
that
could be
one, there's a few
horrible.
other areas, but that one's a bad one around here. Even though they redid it, it's still bad.
And it's all fun and games. Talk about people coming down here and get stuck in the ditch because of the mud and stuff and the clay, and they're not used to it, and they're getting up picking on us about not being able to drive in the snow. It's all fun and games. So you get some big rigs and some vehicles that just can't handle it, and people get hurt. Now we don't want nobody to get hurt. Let us
No,
go on record with that. We want everybody to stay safe. But if y'all coming down here getting on us for not being able to drive in the snow, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it because, and this is Southern Mannerisms 101, we don't want to hear how well you can drive in the snow.
yeah,
Impress us. Drive uphill on that clay road right there. That'll impress us. And while you're about halfway up, you just keep in mind, we're already on the way to go get the tractor. We'll pull you out. Don't worry.
absolutely.
Mm. Uh. That's all I'm going to say on it is, You got anything else you want to say?
No, I'll just say this: as hot as it's been here lately, it kind of is a refreshing feeling to think about a little snow and cooler weather. It's
No
not as
doubt.
bad right now, but it's been bad. I mean, the humidity
Oh,
and everything. So we deal with it every year. But those cooler thoughts, I kind of like this.
yeah. I
Having
like
those
the
conversations
interview.
in the summer are funner than doing them in the winter.
Yeah, it's like the interview we did with Santa Claus here a while back.
Absolutely. Somebody
Yeah,
somebody asked me, why don't y'all wait till December to do that? Well, so well, number one, we wouldn't get him in December. And number two, what a great thought to have thinking about that cooler time and holiday
right
and
in the middle of
festivities and
July.
stuff right in the middle of summer, right in the middle of July. So
Yeah,
it makes perfect sense to me.
yeah, me too. And guys, look, we get over here, we joke, cut up, and have fun. Uh, if y'all would like and follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're out there on all kinds of platforms. Uh, we're not doing this for likes and follows and subscriptions. We're doing it because we enjoy doing it. But that's how we know we're getting the word out, and it's just a metric for us. And it's fun to watch it grow. So y'all like and follow and subscribe, and yeah, we appreciate it very very much.
Absolutely. Appreciate you following
Yes.
us, sending us a little notes here and there, and got some
Oh yeah.
friends that have been helping us and family, and we're picking up some new people every day or every week, and
Yeah.
we're fixing to go live, and that's going to be a game changer for us as well.
Love you guys. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Love it.
Be the night. Salute.